I don't know if Joe Biden really believes this, but I know that he expects you to believe that inflation was 9% when he took office, and that he and all his merry band of radicals really are doing a good job to get it under control. Thankfully, we have the internet.
Talking inflation. The overwhelming consensus is going to pop up a little bit and then go back down. No one's talking about this great, So, again, if it turns out that what I've done so far, what we've done so far, is a mistake, it's going to show.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. He is absolutely right. Bad economic policy, all bad policy cannot be hidden. You'll always be able to tell if what you did was wrong or if what you did was right. And obviously, every single thing that we have done as a nation from the very moment that 81 million people allegedly voted for Joe Biden has been wrong. I mean, everything we've done has been an absolute disaster. And Democrats, they do not know how to fix things, but they absolutely know how to gaslight. And even more than gaslight, they know how to rewrite and rearrange history. If you didn't see the video I did on Jared Bernstein, he is one of the many Biden economic advisors that really doesn't understand the economy. This guy is a music major turned destroyer of worlds, basically. And apparently, somehow they still let this dude on TV.
Chairman of the Council of Economic Advisors, Jared Bernstein. You know, Jared, I understand your frustration sometimes when you look at the data and Americans don't buy the data, but they really don't buy the president telling them that they're essentially wrong. It's not that bad. So how do you navigate that?
Well, that's not at all what the president tells them. And in fact, yesterday, if you look at his statement, which is on the White House website, on the inflation report, we got a very favorable report from the perspective of the markets today, as you have been reporting correctly. But he pointed out, I think one of his first sentences is, we know families are still struggling with prices that are too high. I mean, this is practically a quote from his statement yesterday. Never will this president blow off the struggles that families like the one he grew up in are going through. Instead, he'll take action to help them through cutting costs, prescription drug, clean energy, housing, child care, junk fees, actively working to lower costs in those areas. So not at all dismissive of America's concerns in that regard, Neil.
All right, well, some might disagree with you on that, but I do want to get behind why the president keeps claiming this. This is what talking about inflation. Take a look.
We have dramatically reduced inflation from 9% down to close to 3%. We're in a situation where we're better situated than we were when we took office. It was 9% when I came to office, 9%. But look, people have a right to be concerned. I think inflation has gone slightly up. It was at 9% when I came in, and it's now down around 3%.
I gotta know, man. Let me know in the comments. Do you really think he believes these things? Is it even possible that he actually believes it? That he's got some radical handlers just loading his lips with this nonsense? Or is his dedication to the gaslight really that strong, man? I mean, the guy has become such a professional liar. I honestly cannot tell if he believes it or not. I mean, for sure, he believes that we're all stupid. I know he believes that. The Democrat Party believes that you're an idiot and that you'll just think it's all Donald Trump's fault.
Jared, why does he keep saying that? You're his top you're the head of the Council of Economic Advisors. Do you ever whisper in his ear, Mr. President, just to be technical about it, it wasn't 9% when you assumed office, it was 1.4%. It got as high as 9% in 2022. You brought it down from that, but it was never, ever, ever 9% when you came into office. So why does he keep saying it?
Well, first of all, let me point out that in that very quote you played, the president talked about how concerned he was for households struggling with prices that he consistently characterizes as too high.
That's not what I asked you.
So
why does he keep misrepresenting this?
He's making the point that the factors that caused inflation to climb to 9% were in place when he took office.
No,
I think
that's
it was
not what he said. He said it was at 9%. It would eventually get to 9% a little over a year after that. But the fact of the matter is it wasn't 9%. So if I can't trust him quoting data in real time, why should I believe what he's talking about now?
I have a feeling that this is not a guy who's going to be able to answer this question truthfully, man. He's probably the reason that Joe Biden actually believes it, if he actually does believe it. This is probably the guy that told him that inflation was 9% when he took office. I got to believe that this is the guy who's telling him what a great job he's doing. And honestly, I cannot believe they let this guy go near a TV camera. Just a quick flashback. This is him trying to explain why we borrow and why we print our own currency.
Well, again, some of this stuff gets, some of the language that some of the language and concepts are just confusing. I mean, the government definitely prints money, and it definitely lends that money, which is why the government definitely prints money, and then it lends that money by selling bonds. Is that what they do? They sell bonds. Yeah, they sell bonds, right? Because they sell bonds and people buy the bonds and lend them the money. Yeah. So a lot of times, at least to my ear with MMT, the language and the concepts can be kind of unnecessarily confusing, but there is no question that the government prints money and then it uses that money to I guess I can't really talk. I don't get it. I don't know what they're talking about. Like, because it's like the government clearly prints money. It does it all the time, and it clearly borrows. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this debt and deficit conversation. So I don't think there's anything confusing there.
Yeah. What?